Something is happening to you right now that you cannot explain. You feel it in your bones, in the strange electricity that moves through your body at odd hours, in the way sleep has become something different than it used to be. You wake at 3 in the morning and your chest is humming. Your skin feels like it is receiving something. Your thoughts have become unusually clear in some moments and completely dissolved in others. And somewhere beneath all of this, beneath the physical sensations and the emotional turbulence and the strange knowing that keeps rising in you, there is a quiet, unmistakable recognition that you are not the same person you were 6 months ago. You are not even the same person you were last week. And if you are watching this right now, if this video appeared in your feed, or someone sent it to you, or you stumbled upon it in a way that felt less like coincidence and more like appointment, then what I am about to share with you is not information. It is confirmation. Because what is happening inside your body, inside your very DNA, is not random. It is not a malfunction. It is not anxiety or illness or spiritual bypassing. It is an activation. And it has a source that most people on this planet are not yet ready to understand. But you are ready. You are. You would not be here if you were not. Let that land for a moment. There are intelligences in this universe that operate far beyond the narrow band of perception that human beings have been conditioned to accept as the totality of reality. Not theoretical intelligences, not metaphorical ones. Conscious, coherent, vast fields of awareness that have been in relationship with this planet and with human consciousness for longer than your recorded history can account for. Among these intelligences, there is a collective that your ancient traditions have pointed toward, that your mystics have whispered about, that your most advanced physicists are only now beginning to describe in the language of field theory and quantum coherence. They have been called by many names across many cultures and many timelines. But in the frequency that is most accessible to human understanding right now, they are known as the Arcturians. And they are not coming. They are not arriving. They are not somewhere out there preparing to make contact. They are already here. They have always been here. And what they are doing right now, in this precise window of cosmic timing, is something they have been preparing for across millennia. They are unlocking a code inside your DNA, not metaphorically, not as a feel-good spiritual concept. They are activating dormant sequences within your genetic architecture that have been waiting silently, patiently, for exactly this moment in the evolution of human consciousness. And the result of this activation is something that will change everything about how you move through this world. You are becoming untouchable. Not in the way your ego might imagine that word. Not untouchable as in superior or separate or above the human experience. Untouchable in the way that light is untouchable to darkness. Untouchable in the way that truth is untouchable to manipulation. Untouchable in the way that a frequency so coherent, so aligned, so deeply anchored in its own nature cannot be distorted by anything less coherent than itself. This is what is happening to you. And this is why everything in your life has felt like it is simultaneously falling apart and coming together. Because it is. Both are true. The old architecture is dissolving because it has to. And the new architecture is emerging because it was always encoded within you, waiting for the signal, waiting for the frequency, waiting for this exact moment. So let us go deeper. Let us go where most content will not take you, not because it is dangerous, but because it requires a willingness to release everything you think you know about who you are, what you are, and what is possible within the field of your own consciousness. To understand what the Arcturians are doing with your DNA, you first have to understand what DNA actually is. And I do not mean the textbook definition. I do not mean the double helix model you were shown in biology class, the one that reduces the most sophisticated information system in the known universe to a simple chemical blueprint for building proteins. That model is not wrong exactly, but it is so incomplete that it functions almost as a form of concealment. It shows you just enough to make you think you understand, while hiding the vast majority of what is actually happening. Your DNA is not merely a molecule, it is an antenna. It is a receiver and a transmitter of frequency. Every single cell in your body contains approximately 6 feet of DNA if you were to uncoil it and stretch it out, and you have roughly 37 trillion cells. That means there are trillions upon trillions of these antennae operating inside you at every moment, receiving information from the field around you and broadcasting information back into that field. Your DNA is in constant communication with what quantum physics calls the zero-point field, that vast ocean of energy and information that underlies all physical reality. And here is what no one tells you. The part of your DNA that mainstream science has historically dismissed, the part they once called junk DNA, the 97% of your genetic code that does not appear to code for proteins. That part is not junk. It never was. It is the part of you that interfaces directly with higher dimensional frequencies. It is the receiver for cosmic intelligence. It is the dormant architecture of capacities that human beings have not yet collectively activated, but that exist within every single person on this planet as pure potential. This is what the Arcturians understand. This is what they have always understood. Because the Arcturians do not operate at the level of physical matter the way human consciousness currently does. They operate at the level of frequency, of light, of coherent information fields. They exist in what you might call the fifth density, though even that language is a simplification of something far more fluid and multidimensional than a numbered scale can capture. From their perspective, they can see your DNA not as a chemical structure, but as a luminous code, a living library of light that contains not just the instructions for building your physical body, but the instructions for everything you are capable of becoming. And right now, in this window of time, they are sending specific frequency transmissions that interact with those dormant sequences in your DNA, not through physical contact, not through technology as you understand it, through resonance, through the same principle that allows a tuning fork to activate another tuning fork across a room without touching it. They are broadcasting a frequency, and the parts of your DNA that were designed to receive that frequency are waking up. If this is already resonating with something deep inside you, if you can feel these words landing somewhere beyond your thinking mind, take a moment right now to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Your presence here is not accidental, and there is so much more ahead. Pause and breathe into that for a moment. You are not imagining the changes you are feeling. You are not making them up. Your body is literally reorganizing itself at the genetic level, and your consciousness is expanding to accommodate capacities that have been latent within you since before you were born. Since before your parents were born, since before this civilization began. Now let me explain why this is happening now. Because timing, in the cosmic sense, is not arbitrary. It is not random. There are cycles within cycles within cycles, and this planet, this solar system, this galaxy, is moving through a region of space that carries a specific energetic signature. Your astronomers can measure some of this. They can detect the increased cosmic radiation, the shifts in the Schumann resonance, the unusual solar activity. But what they cannot yet measure, what their instruments are not yet calibrated to detect, is the consciousness component of these cosmic cycles. Every 26,000 years, your solar system completes what is known as the precession of the equinoxes, a great cycle that your ancient civilizations understood and encoded into their monuments, their calendars, their myths. You are right now in the transition point of this cycle, not approaching it, not preparing for it, in it. And this transition point is characterized by an exponential increase in the frequency of the background field, the field that your DNA is constantly in communication with. This is where it gets interesting, because the Arcturians did not create this cycle. They did not engineer this cosmic timing. What they did, what they have been doing for a very long time, is prepare. They seeded certain codes within the human genetic template thousands of years ago, codes that would remain dormant until the background frequency of the planet reached a specific threshold. Think of it like a time release mechanism built into the very fabric of your biology. The codes were always there, but they required a specific environmental frequency to activate, and that frequency is now present. The threshold has been reached. The codes are unlocking. This is why you feel the way you feel. This is why your sleep patterns have changed. This is why your emotional body is purging things you thought you had already dealt with. This is why relationships that once felt comfortable now feel suffocating. This is why you can no longer tolerate inauthenticity, not in others, and especially not in yourself. This is why food tastes different, why your energy moves in unfamiliar patterns, why you sometimes feel like you are vibrating at a frequency that the world around you cannot match. You are not breaking down, you are breaking open. And there is a profound difference between those two experiences, even though they can feel almost identical from the inside. I want to ask you something right now. What is the one thing in your life that has shifted most noticeably in the last few months? The one change you cannot logically explain? Share it in the comments below, because when you name it, you anchor it, and you also help someone else recognize their own activation. Let me describe what this activation actually looks like at the level of your being, because understanding it conceptually is only the first layer. You need to feel it. You need to recognize it in your own experience so that you can cooperate with it rather than resist it. The first thing that happens when these dormant DNA codes begin to activate is that your nervous system starts to reorganize. Your nervous system is the bridge between your physical body and your energy body. And when new frequencies begin to move through your DNA, your nervous system has to upgrade its capacity to handle those frequencies. This is why so many people right now are experiencing what feels like nervous system dysregulation. Heart palpitations, sudden waves of heat or cold, tingling in the extremities, pressure in the head, especially around the forehead and the crown, ringing in the ears that comes and goes without any physical cause. These are not symptoms of illness. They are symptoms of upgrade. Your hardware is being reconfigured to run new software. The second thing that happens is that your perception begins to shift. You start to see through things that used to fool you. Manipulation that once worked on you becomes transparent. Social dynamics that you used to participate in unconsciously now feel almost absurd in their obviousness. You can feel when someone is being inauthentic, not because you are judging them, but because your field has become so coherent that incoherence registers immediately, like a wrong note in a symphony. This is not paranoia. This is not hypervigilance. This is clarity. And it is one of the first capacities that emerges when the Arcturian codes begin to come online. The third thing, and this is where it becomes truly profound, is that your relationship with time begins to change. You start to experience moments of what can only be described as temporal fluidity. Past and future begin to feel less like fixed points on a line, and more like accessible dimensions of a single present moment. You might find yourself knowing things before they happen, not in a dramatic psychic prediction sense, but in a quiet, embodied sense. You reach for your phone a moment before it rings. You think of someone and they contact you within hours. You make a decision that seems irrational in the moment, but turns out to be exactly right in ways you could not have logically predicted. This is because the activated DNA sequences are giving you access to information that exists outside the linear time framework that your conscious mind normally operates within. And the fourth thing, perhaps the most disorienting of all, is that your identity begins to dissolve. Not your personality, not your preferences or your humor or your humanity, your identity. The fixed story of who you are, where you came from, what you are capable of, what you deserve, what is possible for you. That story, which you have been carrying and reinforcing and defending your entire life, begins to feel less solid, less real, less yours. And in its place, something else begins to emerge, not a new story, something beyond story altogether. A direct knowing of what you are that does not require narrative, that does not require validation, that does not require anyone else to confirm or agree with. This is what it means to become untouchable. Not that nothing can reach you, not that you become numb or disconnected, or floating above the human experience in some dissociated spiritual bubble. It means that the core of what you are becomes so anchored, so coherent, so deeply rooted in its own frequency that external chaos cannot destabilize it. Other people's projections cannot penetrate it. Fear-based narratives cannot colonize it. The endless noise of a world in transition cannot drown it out. You become like the eye of a hurricane. Everything around you may be moving, shifting, churning, transforming. But the center of you is still. The center of you is clear. The center of you is broadcasting a frequency so stable that it actually begins to stabilize the field around you. You do not just change. You become a change agent by virtue of your coherence alone. Let that sink in. Now here is where I need to address something that your mind is probably already doing. Because the mind does this. It is its job. It is what it was designed to do. Your mind is likely sorting this information into categories. It is trying to decide if this is real or fantasy, scientific or spiritual, literal or metaphorical. And I want to invite you to notice that sorting process without getting caught in it, because the sorting itself is a function of the old operating system. The binary mind, the either-or framework, real or not real, true or false, proven or unproven. The consciousness that is emerging in you, the consciousness that these DNA activations are making possible, does not operate in binaries. It operates in spectrums, in fields, in both and rather than either or. It can hold paradox without needing to resolve it. It can receive information from multiple dimensions simultaneously without needing to collapse it into a single narrative. This is not irrationality. This is trans-rationality. It includes the rational mind, but is not limited by it. It honors logic, but is not imprisoned by it. So when I tell you that the Arcturians are activating codes in your DNA, I am not asking you to believe it the way you believe a fact in a textbook. I am inviting you to feel into it, to notice what resonates in your body when you hear these words, to pay attention to the parts of you that recognize this, not because someone told you to believe it, but because something in you already knows. Because here is the truth that most people miss. The Arcturians are not doing something to you that is foreign. They are not inserting something alien into your biology. They are awakening something that is already yours, something that has always been yours, something that is as native to your being as your heartbeat or your breath. The codes they are activating are human codes. They are part of the original human template, the full-spectrum human design that existed before the narrowing, before the forgetting, before the long sleep of consciousness that this civilization has been moving through. You are not being upgraded to something other than human. You are being restored to what human actually means. And what human actually means is so far beyond what you have been taught that the gap between the two can feel like science fiction. But it is not fiction. It is memory. Deep, cellular, genetic memory that is rising to the surface because the conditions are finally right for it to emerge. Let me take you deeper still. There is a concept in quantum physics called coherence. When particles in a system become coherent, they begin to behave as a single unified field rather than as separate individual units. A laser is an example of coherent light. The photons in a laser are all vibrating at the same frequency, in the same phase, moving in the same direction. And because of this coherence, a laser can do things that ordinary scattered light cannot. It can cut through steel. It can transmit information across vast distances without degradation. It can perform surgery with precision that a scalpel cannot match. This is exactly what is happening to you at the cellular level. The Arcturian frequency transmissions are bringing your cells, your DNA, your entire biofield into a state of increasing coherence. And as your coherence increases, you become capable of things that your previous state of internal scattering made impossible. Not supernatural things. Natural things that have been inaccessible only because of the degree of incoherence that the human system has been operating in. Think about what incoherence looks like in a human life. It looks like saying one thing and doing another. It looks like wanting something deeply, but unconsciously sabotaging every attempt to create it. It looks like knowing the truth, but being unable to act on it. It looks like chronic stress, chronic illness, chronic dissatisfaction that no external change seems to resolve. This is not a character flaw. This is a frequency problem. It is the result of a system whose components are vibrating at conflicting frequencies, canceling each other out, creating static rather than signal. And what the Arcturian activation does is begin to resolve that internal conflict at the most fundamental level, not at the level of your thoughts, though your thoughts will change. Not at the level of your emotions, though your emotions will clarify. At the level of your DNA. At the level of the code that generates everything else. When the code becomes coherent, everything that emerges from that code becomes coherent. Your thoughts align with your feelings. Your feelings align with your actions. Your actions align with your deepest truth. and your deepest truth aligns with the intelligence of the field itself. This is what untouchable means. It means coherent. It means that the signal you are broadcasting is so clear, so unified, so free of internal contradiction that nothing incoherent can attach to it. Manipulation cannot find a foothold because there is no internal split for it to exploit. Fear cannot take root because the frequency of fear requires incoherence to survive, and your system is no longer providing that environment. Drama cannot draw you in because drama feeds on reactive energy, and your energy is no longer reactive. It is responsive. There is a vast difference. A reactive person is controlled by their environment. A responsive person is in relationship with their environment, but anchored in their own coherence. Reactivity is a symptom of incoherence. Responsiveness is a function of coherence. And as these DNA codes activate, you are shifting from one to the other at the deepest possible level. Now, I want to speak to something that many of you are experiencing, but may not have language for yet. As this activation progresses, you may find that your social world begins to rearrange itself in ways that feel painful. People you have known for years, people you love, may begin to feel distant. Not because anything dramatic has happened between you, but because your frequencies are diverging. You are accelerating into coherence, and they may not be on the same timeline. This is not judgment. This is physics. Two tuning forks vibrating at different frequencies cannot resonate with each other. They can exist in the same room, but they cannot create harmony. And this is one of the most challenging aspects of the activation, because the human heart does not want to leave anyone behind. The human heart wants everyone to come along. And the truth is, everyone will. Eventually, in their own time, on their own timeline. But your job is not to wait for them. Your job is not to slow down your own activation so that others feel comfortable. Your job is to become so fully coherent, so completely anchored in your own frequency, that you become a lighthouse. Not someone who drags others into the light, but someone who simply shines so consistently that those who are ready can find their way. This is compassion at the highest level, not the compassion that sacrifices itself to make others comfortable. The compassion that trusts each being's sovereign journey enough to let them walk it at their own pace while you walk yours at yours. This is the Arcturian understanding of love. Love is not interference. Love is not rescue. Love is coherence held so steadily that it creates a field of permission for others to find their own coherence in their own way. Breathe into that. Let it settle into your body. I am curious about something. Have you noticed relationships in your life shifting or falling away recently without any clear reason? Tell me about it in the comments. Your experience might be the exact mirror someone else needs to see right now. There is a practice I want to share with you now. Something you can do to consciously cooperate with this activation rather than simply experiencing it passively. Because while the Arcturian transmissions are activating these codes regardless of your conscious participation dramatically accelerates the process and smooths the transition. It is the difference between being carried by a river and swimming with the current. Both get you downstream, but one is significantly more graceful. Here is what I invite you to do. Find a quiet space. It does not need to be perfectly silent. It just needs to be a space where you can be undisturbed for 10 to 15 minutes. Sit or lie down in whatever position allows your body to be completely relaxed, but your awareness to remain alert. Close your eyes and begin by simply noticing your breath, not changing it, not deepening it, just noticing it. Let your awareness ride the breath the way a leaf rides a stream. After a few minutes of this, bring your attention to the center of your chest, not your physical heart, though it is close. The energetic center of your chest, what many traditions call the heart center. And as you hold your attention there, begin to generate a feeling, not a thought about a feeling, an actual felt sense. The feeling I want you to generate is the feeling of recognition, the feeling of remembering something you had forgotten, the feeling of coming home to something that was always there, but that you had somehow overlooked. You do not need to know what you are remembering. You do not need to attach a story or an image or a concept to it. Just the raw feeling of recognition, of remembering, of return. As you hold this feeling in your heart center, imagine, and I use the word imagine loosely because what you are actually doing is activating an inner capacity. Imagine that this feeling begins to radiate outward from your chest, not forcefully, gently, like warmth from a fire, like light from a candle. Let it expand through your body. Let it fill your cells. Let it reach into your DNA. And then, with your inner awareness, speak these words silently to yourself. Not as an affirmation, not as a mantra you are trying to program into your subconscious, as a recognition, as an acknowledgement of something that is already true. I remember what I am. I allow the codes within me to awaken. I am coherent. I am sovereign. I am home. Sit with that for as long as feels right. There is no minimum and no maximum. Your body will tell you when it is complete. You may feel heat. You may feel tingling. You may feel emotion rising, tears or laughter, or both simultaneously. You may feel absolutely nothing, and that is equally valid. The activation does not require your sensation to confirm it. It only requires your willingness. Do this daily if you can. Do it whenever you feel the turbulence of the transition becoming overwhelming. Do it when you wake at 3 in the morning with that strange electricity in your chest. Do it when the old world tries to pull you back into incoherence. It will anchor you. It will accelerate you. It will remind you of what is actually happening beneath the surface of your ordinary life. Now let me address something else. Something that the mind often raises as an objection. How do I know this is real? How do I know the Arcturians exist? How do I know this is not just a story someone made up to get views on the internet? These are fair questions, and I honor them. The rational mind has an important function, and I would never ask you to abandon it. But I will ask you to expand it. Because the rational mind, operating within its current parameters, can only validate what falls within the range of its existing instruments. And the existing instruments of mainstream science are calibrated to measure physical phenomena. They can measure electromagnetic radiation. They can sequence genes. They can map neural activity. But they cannot yet measure consciousness itself. They cannot measure coherence in the way I'm describing it. They cannot detect the frequency transmissions that operate at dimensions beyond the electromagnetic spectrum as it is currently understood. This does not mean these things do not exist. It means the instruments have not caught up yet, And throughout the history of science, this has always been the case. There was a time when bacteria did not exist, not because they were not there, but because no one had invented the microscope yet. There was a time when radio waves did not exist, not because the universe was not saturated with them, but because no one had built a receiver yet. The absence of detection is not evidence of absence. It is evidence of limitation. And here is what is fascinating. The very science that people invoke to dismiss these ideas is the same science that, at its most advanced edges, is pointing directly toward them. Quantum entanglement demonstrates that particles can be instantaneously connected across any distance, suggesting that the universe operates as a unified field rather than a collection of separate objects. The observer effect demonstrates that consciousness itself plays a role in determining physical reality. Epigenetics demonstrates that gene expression can be altered by environmental signals, including electromagnetic frequencies, in ways that were considered impossible just decades ago. The Arcturian activation of human DNA is not in conflict with science. It is ahead of science. It is operating in the space that science has not yet mapped but is rapidly approaching. And the people who are experiencing this activation in their bodies right now, people like you, are the living data. You are the evidence, not in a laboratory, in your life, in your cells, in the undeniable shifts that are occurring within you that no external explanation can fully account for. So let me bring this back to the practical. Because understanding is beautiful, but embodiment is everything. What does it actually look like to live as someone whose Arcturian DNA codes are coming online? What changes in your daily experience? What becomes possible that was not possible before? First, your intuition becomes something entirely different than what it was. It stops being a vague feeling or a subtle nudge and becomes a clear, reliable, almost conversational source of guidance. You begin to receive information that you could not have accessed through your logical mind alone. Information about situations, about people, about decisions that turns out to be accurate in ways that consistently exceed chance. This is not psychic power in the way popular culture imagines it. It is the natural result of your DNA antenna receiving a broader spectrum of information from the field. You are not gaining a supernatural ability. You are recovering a natural one. Second, your capacity to heal, both yourself and others, expands dramatically. And I do not mean healing in a mystical, laying on of hands sense, though that may also develop. I mean that your body's innate healing intelligence becomes significantly more effective. Chronic conditions that have persisted for years begin to shift. Emotional wounds that seemed permanently embedded begin to release. And when you are in close proximity to others, your coherent field begins to entrain their field toward greater coherence, which supports their own healing process. You become therapeutic not because of what you do, but because of what you are. Third, and this is the one that tends to frighten the ego the most, you lose your ability to pretend. You can no longer perform a version of yourself that is not authentic. You cannot say yes when you mean no. You cannot smile when you are grieving. You cannot participate in conversations or relationships or systems that require you to fragment yourself into acceptable pieces. This is not stubbornness or antisocial behavior. It is integrity in its most literal sense. Integer, whole, undivided. Your system has become so coherent that division is no longer possible. And while this can create temporary friction in a world that runs on performance and fragmentation, it ultimately becomes your greatest source of power. Because a whole person in a world of fragments is not just different. They are magnetic. They are gravitational. They pull reality toward them rather than chasing it. Fourth, your relationship with fear transforms at the root. Fear does not disappear. You are still human. You still have a nervous system that is designed to respond to threat. But the quality of fear changes. It becomes informational rather than controlling. You can feel fear arising and recognize it as data, as your system alerting you to something that requires attention without being hijacked by it. Fear stops being the driver and becomes a passenger. It can speak, but it no longer steers. This is because the coherence in your system has resolved the deep, unconscious fragmentation that fear exploits. Fear gains power in the gaps between the parts of yourself that are not in communication with each other. When those parts come into coherence, the gaps close, and fear loses its leverage. And fifth, you begin to experience what can only be described as a different relationship with reality itself. Synchronicities increase to the point where they stop being remarkable and become simply how life works. The gap between intention and manifestation shortens dramatically. Not because you are magically controlling the universe, but because your coherent signal is so clear that the field can respond to it without distortion. Think of it this way. If you are trying to communicate through a phone line full of static, your message gets garbled, delayed, lost. But if the line is clear, communication is instantaneous and accurate. Your increasing coherence is clearing the line between your consciousness and the field of infinite possibility. And when that line is clear, reality becomes responsive in ways that the incoherent mind would call miraculous, but that the coherent being simply calls natural. This is what you are becoming. This is what the Arcturian activation is making possible. Not a different species, not an alien hybrid, not something other than human. The full human. The human that was always intended. The human that was designed with capacities so vast that they had to be locked away until the species was mature enough, until the cosmic timing was right, until the individual soul was ready to handle the responsibility of that much coherence. And that responsibility is real. I want to be honest about that. Because becoming untouchable is not a reward, it is a responsibility. When your field becomes coherent, you affect everything and everyone around you. Your presence becomes a catalyst. People in your vicinity will begin to have their own dormant material activated, not because you are trying to heal them or fix them or teach them, but because coherence is contagious, and not everyone is ready for what comes up when their own buried material begins to surface. Some people will be drawn to you like moths to a flame. Others will be repelled, sometimes violently, because your coherence threatens the incoherent structures they have built their identity around. This is why the Arcturians emphasize sovereignty so strongly. Not sovereignty as isolation, sovereignty as wholeness. The ability to remain centered in your own coherence regardless of how others respond to it. The ability to hold space without absorbing, to witness without fixing, to love without losing yourself. This is the mastery that the activation demands. And it is a mastery that unfolds not through effort, but through surrender. Not the surrender of defeat, the surrender of trust. Trusting the intelligence that is moving through your DNA. Trusting the process that is reorganizing your entire being. Trusting that the discomfort is temporary, but the transformation is permanent. What we have touched on today, This understanding of coherence, of frequency transmission, of becoming the broadcast rather than merely receiving it, this is only the surface of a much vaster system. If you are feeling called to explore the complete framework, the 9 master frequencies, the step-by-step practices for moving from unconscious static to conscious transmission, I have laid it all out in my book, Beyond the Frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery. It contains layers upon layers of understanding that a single video simply cannot hold. It is linked in the pinned comment below. I want to speak now to those of you who are further along in this process. Those of you who have been feeling these shifts not for weeks but for months or even years. You are the first wave. And being in the first wave is both a privilege and a particular kind of loneliness. Because you have been experiencing things that the people around you have no framework for understanding. You have tried to explain what is happening to you and been met with blank stares, or worse, with concern that something is wrong with you. You have questioned your own sanity more times than you can count. You have wondered if you are losing your mind when in fact you are gaining something far more vast than mind. I want you to hear this clearly. You are not crazy. You are not broken. You are not having a prolonged psychological episode. You are a pioneer. You are doing the difficult, unglamorous, often painful work of embodying a new frequency on a planet that has not yet fully adjusted to it. And every moment that you hold your coherence, every moment that you choose to trust the process, even when it makes no sense to your rational mind, you are making it easier for the next wave. You are literally paving a frequency pathway that others will walk more easily because you walked it first. This is service at the highest level, not service that requires an audience or recognition or gratitude. Service that happens in the quiet of your own becoming. Service that is indistinguishable from your own transformation. The Arcturians do not separate individual evolution from collective evolution. In their understanding, they are the same thing. When one being becomes coherent, the entire field of human consciousness shifts, however slightly. And when enough beings become coherent, a tipping point is reached. And what was once the exception becomes the new baseline. That tipping point is approaching. You can feel it. The acceleration is undeniable. The number of people waking up, questioning the old narratives, feeling the strange symptoms, having the unexplainable experiences, is growing exponentially. This is not a trend. This is not a cultural movement. This is a species-level metamorphosis, and the Arcturian DNA activation is one of the primary catalysts driving it. So what do you do with all of this? How do you navigate a transformation this profound while still living in a world that has not yet caught up? How do you hold the new frequency while still paying your bills, maintaining your relationships, functioning in structures that were designed for the old human? Here is the simplest and most powerful answer I can give you. You do not try to be untouchable. You allow yourself to become coherent. You do not fight the old world. You embody the new frequency. You do not try to convince anyone of anything. You become the evidence. Every morning when you wake, before you reach for your phone, before you check the news, before you engage with the demands of the external world, take 60 seconds to feel into the center of your chest and remember what you are. Not who you are. What you are. A field of consciousness having a temporary human experience. A field that is currently being activated to express capacities that have been dormant for millennia. Let that remembering be the first frequency you broadcast into your day. let it set the tone for everything that follows. Consider sharing this video with someone you know who has been going through these unexplainable shifts. When you share these frequencies with another person who is ready to receive them, you do not just pass along information. You create a resonance loop between two awakening fields that amplifies the coherence in both of you, accelerating each other's activation in ways that neither of you could achieve alone. That is the power of conscious connection during this window of transformation. When you encounter situations that trigger your old patterns, your old reactivity, your old incoherence, do not judge yourself. Do not force yourself to be spiritual about it. Simply notice. Oh, there is the old frequency. And then, gently, without violence toward yourself, choose the new one. Not by suppressing the old, by remembering the new, by returning to coherence the way you return to your breath when your mind wanders in meditation. Again and again and again, not perfectly, patiently. And when the world feels too loud, too chaotic, too overwhelming, remember that the chaos is not a sign that things are going wrong. It is a sign that things are reorganizing. Chaos is what precedes a higher order. It is the dissolution of an old pattern making space for a new one. And you, in your increasing coherence, are not a victim of that chaos. You are the seed of the new order that is emerging from it. The Arcturians have a perspective on this that I find profoundly comforting. They see the current period on Earth not as a crisis, but as a birth. And like all births, it involves pressure, discomfort, uncertainty, and moments of what feels like unbearable intensity. But the outcome is not destruction. The outcome is new life, new consciousness, new possibility. And the beings who are going through the activation, beings like you, are not the ones being born. You are the ones doing the birthing. You are the ones whose bodies, whose DNA, whose consciousness is serving as the vessel through which a new form of human experience is entering this world. That is not a small thing. That is not an insignificant role. That is the most important work happening on this planet right now. And it does not require you to be perfect. It does not require you to have all the answers. It does not require you to be free of doubt or fear or confusion. It only requires you to be willing. Willing to feel what is moving through you. Willing to trust what you cannot yet fully understand. Willing to keep showing up day after day as the most coherent version of yourself that you can access in any given moment. That is enough. That has always been enough. And here is the final thing I want to leave you with. The final piece that ties everything together. The reason this video appeared in your life right now. The reason these words are landing in you the way they are. You did not find this by accident. Nothing in a coherent universe happens by accident. The fact that you are here, listening, feeling, recognizing, is itself evidence of the activation. Your DNA drew you to this information because this information is part of the activation, not the words themselves, the frequency beneath the words, the resonance that is moving through the language and touching something in your cells that has been waiting to be touched. You are already becoming what you are meant to become. The codes are already unlocking. The coherence is already building. The old self is already dissolving to make way for something so much more vast, so much more true, so much more aligned with the actual nature of reality, that when it fully emerges, you will look back on this moment and realize it was the beginning of everything. Not the beginning of a new belief system, not the beginning of a new spiritual identity, the beginning of the end of all the things that were never really you, and the beginning of the remembering of everything that always was. You are becoming untouchable, not because something is being added to you, because everything that was covering what you truly are is being removed, layer by layer, code by code, breath by breath. Trust it, feel it, let it happen. And if this resonated with something deep in you, something beyond the mind, something in your cells, something in your bones, leave a single word in the comments. Whatever word arose in you while you were listening, do not think about it. Do not craft it. Just let it come. That word is your frequency signature right now, and when you share it, you add it to the collective field. You become part of the signal rather than the noise. Subscribe if you feel called to continue walking this path together. Not because you need more information, because coherence builds in community. Because the field we create together when we gather around these frequencies is more powerful than any individual field alone. And because what is coming next, what the Arcturians are preparing to unlock in the next phase of this activation, will build on everything we have explored here today. You are not alone in this. You have never been alone in this. And the intelligence that is moving through your DNA right now, the intelligence that brought you to this exact moment, that intelligence knows exactly what it is doing. Trust it. You are already home. Now, if you want to understand how this activation works while your body is in its most receptive state, go watch Nobody Told You Sleep is actually a quantum field reset, and it is rewiring you right now. That video reveals how your sleeping hours are the primary window when these DNA codes integrate, and your entire field recalibrates, and it will transform how you approach every single night from this point forward.